What up, cooks? Your boy the hater up in this. And this video was sent to me by another loyal subscriber whose name I forget. But thank you. Been getting your emails, guys, but it's actually quite a few emails. And I also have other things that I want to react to. So hopefully I'll get to whatever it is that you want me to get to. But it might take some time, guys. Now, that being said, the hater has only watched the view one time. And that was when the hater took his Jeep back in the day to get the oil changed at Jiffy Lube. You know, at Jiffy Lube, they got those little TVs in the corner. Well, they were playing The View, and I listened to it, and I recognized Joy Behar. I think that's her name, right? Joy Behar, but I know her. Joy Behar is actually hilarious. Now, maybe not on The View. On The View, I hear she is atrocious. But I haven't ever watched, like, a full clip of The View. I'm sure I've seen, like, a TikTok or, you know, type of shit here and there, but I've never seen, like, a full-blown segment. And I don't think this is one either, because this is only four minutes, it looks like. But nevertheless, we're going to react to this and see what they say. I haven't seen it yet. It says, do women really need men? Which apparently is a debate on TikTok. Look, you dipshits, before anyone gets their panties twisted, right? Men need women and women need men. In addition, men need other men and women need other women. I could get into the evolutionary biology of why that is, but I'm not going to bore you with that except to tell you this. Humans, when we're born, I should say when they're born, am I a fucking alien? You know? When we're born, humans are severely underdeveloped. If you see like a horse giving birth, right? See the horse giving birth, the horse is walking, stops walking, shoots a baby out. The baby's covered in like residue and film and shit. The baby breaks out of that little sack, shakes once or twice, and the baby's good to go. The foal is good to go. They're ready to walk, they can eat, they can do these things. Human babies cannot do this, right? Human babies need to be taken care of, right? And when a woman has a baby, she's very vulnerable from predators, right? Historically speaking, of course. Even nowadays, when a woman has a baby, she's often bedridden or, you know, it's hard for her to get around for a couple of days or a couple of hours at least, right? But in the past, imagine in the past when there's no painkillers and no nurses to like wipe your ass, right? So as a result, humans developed families and humans developed social bonds. So it goes without saying that everyone needs different types of people. But let's see what these geniuses have to say about it. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Maybe they know better than me. Let's go. I highly doubt it, Cooks.
So there's this clip going viral online of a dozen women being asked the following question. Do we need men? Most answered very quickly, no. And only one said she thought women needed a man in their lives, only one. But when men were asked a similar question, do we need women? Most of them said yes. So why do you think that is?
Because men are useless. I mean,
all right. Right off the jump, I got a problem with this one. This one I've seen. I've seen this one on like Tucker Carlson, here and there, on a clip here and there. I don't like this broad. I don't remember her name, but I think it's Navarro is her last name. Nevertheless, we'll just call her the Navarro broad for now. This woman, I don't like her. She tries to do things that are like, say things that are inflammatory. And that's something that if half the world is insulted at that and men are useless, I'm fucking useless. You know what I'm saying? Have you lost your mind? Like, here's what this all comes down to. And I'll tell you right now, you may not even have to watch this video. The hater will just prophesize to you. At the end of the day, men can kick women's asses. That's what all this comes down to, right? So a lot of times women in these types of positions have this penchant, right? This penchant, as we say in English, to want to break men down. The reality is, if the hater wanted to, he could go and order a hater mask, put that sumbitch on, and if I wanted to, I could run up to The View and I could take over the studio in about 45 seconds. Now, I can't do that because other men that are bigger and stronger than me and likely armed are going to stop me from doing that. But if it were up to Navarro here, the Navarro broad, me being useless, are you kidding me? Absolutely not. Can she do what the hater does? I don't think so.
and by the way, I want to differentiate between straight men and gay men, because I think I would die without gay men. Nobody can gossip like gay men. Nobody can help you accessorize like gay men. Nobody can help you keep you from doing harm to yourself like gay men.
Yeah, those fucking cherry earrings she's got really are a good accessory. What the hell is she talking about at this point? Now she's saying, whoa, I don't mean to offend the gay men. I'm specifically only offending straight men. They really are the problem. They really are useless. I hate to be that fucking guy, motherfuckers. I hate to be that guy because I personally think that the genders are completely equal in the sense that men and women have the same value. Equal is not the same thing as, quote unquote, exactly the same, right? So the analogy that I always give is this. 2 + 2 = 4 and is equal to 1 + 3, which also equals 4. But they are different. 2 + 2 is conceptually different than 1 + 3, right? And you can go on with infinite examples. In other words, there's certain things that men are good at and certain things that women are good at. And this doesn't just stop at genders. This stops at cultures, at types of people, at geography. Different people are good at different things, right? But if we wanted to do this, like who's the most useful Olympics, like if I were to pull up every invention that's been, created by men, it'd be like 100% basically of everything was created by men, and women here and there have invented like, I don't know, something goofy probably, right? Now, again, nothing wrong with that. Certain people are going to be the ones that invent, and certain people are going to be good at other things, right? Women are much better at anything, in my opinion, that involves emotion. For example, if I wanted to find a babysitter, if I had a kid and I want to find a babysitter, I sure as shit I'm gonna pick a woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm not picking a man, right? To babysit my kids. I don't think men are as responsible when it comes to taking care of other things and other people. There's a lot of things that women are better at than men. But why can't we just leave it at that? Why does this broad have to say men are useless? What do you mean men are useless? She's probably married to some goof, to some jobber who doesn't do anything. And she's like, yeah, well, from what I know, men are useless, right? That's the problem with these broads. They've never met like real men. Just like I said a few videos ago, that a lot of people who claim everything is racist, they've never met like a real racist. And, obviously, while you don't want to meet real racists, you do want to meet real men and real women and, understand how the world works, cucks.
But with the exception of somebody like Steve, I think Steve is very self-sufficient.
That's Joy's husband.
But like
He is.
husband, it takes a village of women to make sure that he's not emaciated, starving, and living in his own filth. He can,
Really?
Wow. Sounds like her husband is a fucking loser. It's really that simple. She married a complete tool. That's the only explanation. As a matter of fact, that is a dispositive explanation because only a complete tool would marry this woman and have her talk about him like this. Not even in public, but just generally, right? If your spouse has this opinion of you, you fucked up. You've married the wrong person. It's as simple as that. This woman has no respect for her husband. I was right 100% of the time. But you see what she did? She first said, all men are useless, right? Then she said, well, I'm not gay men, right? And then maybe Joy looked at her weird and she's like, oh, I'm not Joy's husband, right? And then eventually we filtered all this down to her husband is a complete incompetent, right? It's as simple as that. Her husband sucks. You know what I'm saying? She's probably divorced by now. I mean, it'd be shocking if she weren't after she said all this kind of stuff. But who knows?
Yeah.
But you guys feel you guys are married to people that are more.
I have Handy Manny at home. He fixes everything. When things go bump in the night, he's the one that goes downstairs. When there's a bug to be exterminated, he does the extermination.
Nope.
When there is something to be fixed, he fixes it. He throws out the trash and he throws out the recyclables. I enjoy all the man stuff.
So wait a second. I know what you're gonna.
Hell yeah, I think she's a complete idiot too because I've seen her in other clips. But this time she's right. A handy man.
She's really talking about a servant. Let's face it.
No,
it's a handyman she's talking about.
it's a handy manny.
Oh, it's a handyman with benefits.
We do not have.
Well, but the things that you're describing, you could pay somebody to do that. We're not talking.
Who would you pay? You would pay another man. Are these people being real? You would pay another man to do the things that she just described, right? Like that's why we have the word handyman, right? Now, of course, obviously there's women that do that work too, but there's only a few of them. And if you took out all the men that are handymen, the 5 women that can do that kind of shit, like there's a show on TV. I think it's called Toughest Nails. It's the same host as Amazing Race. It's a great show, actually. They get a bunch of people that work in like physical jobs and they have them compete in like physical job type shit. And in one of the seasons, the winner was a woman and she was fucking awesome. She was able to do everything. She was like, she was like a legit problem solver. But imagine if there was no other men and it was just that woman. She'd be like, oh, you want me to fix the doorknob? All right, 10 grand, right? Supply and demand, motherfuckers, economics, right? Most women are not good at things like that. So the 5 women that are good at it are going to charge a lot of money, right?
About that. What about the inner life of a man? That's what this is about.
I need my man 3 to 4 times a week. And
Good for you guys.
and then the rest of the time I need a wife. Because I've always said that.
Everyone needs a wife.
No, I teased Vicky, my producer, in the morning. I was like, if you'd like to join Max and I, not in that way, but like Vicky and I could kill it as household runners. Like we would be laughing, giggling, doing all the things. And Max would be so psyched I was wasting all my words somewhere else anyway. So it would be a perfect combo. And the other day, Caleb said to me, this is my youngest son. He said, Mama, I want a spare mom. And I didn't know what he meant. And he's like, he said, Genevieve has a spare mom. And I realized the parents were divorced.
Nanny?
No, divorced. An extra mom, like 2 moms. And so I asked him, because at first I was a little wounded. I was like, what am I not doing? You know, and he's like, no, I just think at bedtime, you always have to pay attention to the other kids too. And if we had a spare mom, dad, and you could, you know, then you just get to focus on me. And it was so sweet. He didn't ask for a spare dad, by the way. He asked for a spare mom.
I took this totally differently in how I prepped because broadly speaking, I feel like men have proven largely useless. Like I think in the political moment, the people who are
don't hold
saying
back.
what needs to be said in my party, it's all women. The very few men, with the exception of Mike Pence and a few others, are saying what they need to. But in life, like I need my husband.
This woman seems to be a conservative. She is right about that. I'm not going to lie. A lot of men, but this is more of a byproduct of like American masculinity and Western masculinity. You see, what's happened is, and I predicted this many, many years ago, 10, 15 years ago. One of my good friends was telling me about how a lot of people that he knows think now that it's cool for men to wear pink. And I was like, yeah, that's just weird, man. Like, why would you do that? You know, like pink is a color associated with women. And long story short, the conclusion that we came to was that these people that wear pink, both me and the person I'm talking about, were fundamentally against this. And the conclusion we came to was that people do this as a form of like essentially overcompensating, right? It's like there's a doubt about how masculine these men are, and they think that by inverting it, they're like, oh, I'll prove how manly I am by showing how secure I am in wearing pink, right? And this is a strategy that works at the bus stop, at the school bus stop when you're a child. But the reality is, right, all of these things that we're told, like, oh, I'm not gay, I'm secure about my sexuality, right? So there's some men that are like, I don't like hugging other men. People are like, what are you afraid of being gay? No, it has something to do with that. Some men are afraid of hugging men, and some men just don't like doing it because they're like, this is not how men behave. Now, the hater is a big hugger. In my culture, it's completely normal to hug men, kiss men on the cheeks, and we don't think this is gay at all, right? I'm using this as an example to illustrate that the way that people want you to do these behaviors that make you, oftentimes, the hug thing might not be a good example, but that make you less masculine in the long run, the way they pressure you into it is by saying if you don't do it, you are less masculine than if you stand by your convictions, right? So, for example, you know, someone might say, oh, you don't like gay people? Oh, it might be because you're gay yourself. And a lot of people have been bullied into thinking, oh, well, if I show any kind of disagreement with gay people, then I might be gay, or people might perceive me that way. So I think I'll do exactly what I'm supposed to do, right? Now, taken to its logical conclusion, we have a society now where men are afraid to talk to women. They're afraid to ask women out on dates, and everybody doesn't understand what it's like to be a man. And this has been happening for some generations. And unfortunately, it happens, everything that I just said is sped up in the demographic of men that go after women like them, right? Let's be real. Like this girl, I don't even know who she is. This girl, I can already tell. She goes out with like Chris Cuomo type dudes, right? Guys are like, oh, hello, madam. Maybe if you have some extra time after, you know, we get off at work at 8:30, maybe I could take you out for a cocktail, say, right? They deal with those kind of dudes, right? They deal with these dorks, right? That now are like, oh, maybe now we could get a cocktail. Let's go to this bar where the drink is like $29.50, and I'll show you the kind of alpha male I am. Like, you know what I mean? And these people fall for these things much, much quicker because they're dorks. They've been dorks forever, right? The hater knows a lot of people like that because I met a lot of them through law school and, you know, thereabouts, right? But the hater has never been about that life, right? So in my opinion, this is a mixture of the men around these women are completely useless. But also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that a lot of what's being said here is primarily targeted to this, stay-at-home mom demographic, right? Because The View, that's why I've only seen it once, because usually I'm working and doing other things. But when I got my oil changed, it was around like 1 p.m. or noon or something like that. It was like not too early, but it wasn't, after 5 or when people get off work. This is daytime TV. So these women are going to pander to the insecurities and thoughts of their target audience. So I get that too. Don't get me wrong,
Husband. I don't know if I need any other men, but he is irreplaceable.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, I think so.
But that's what I was saying. We like our husbands. We just don't need men beyond that.
Yeah, wait till you're married 20 years and you'll see how replaceable
The
they
reason
are.
that I think that the reason women can stay married for as long as they do is because they have a lot of girlfriends.
They have a village.
They have girlfriends. Because I always have to initiate the conversations. He'll step up, but I have to
thought you were going to
start
say
him.
initiate.
Oh, I don't-
was like, no,
I just
I don't
told you guys, I have 8 girlfriends from Panama here who are girlfriends for 50 years since they were in kindergarten.
Oh, I love
And it's that, and they were saying yesterday that they've gone through divorces, they've gone through challenges, and having that village of women has made it possible.
Well, we
for
are
them.
more collaborative than men. I think
Yeah.
there have been studies that say that women have much closer friendship relationships than men do.
Because women
Again, I think we have to make a
because
difference,
women
differentiate gay men.
No,
Man, this woman really doesn't want to leave gay men out. Like, I don't know what it is, but she really is obsessed with like not leaving gay men out. And like, I ain't got nothing against the gays, man. The gays are cool. Strangely enough, in my life, every gay person that I've met, which admittedly has been a lot because, I went to college and law school in America. And, I feel like a lot of the more liberal people, the people that are more open about being out of the closet and things like that, tend to go into like higher levels of education. So I've met a lot of them and through other facets of life as well. And personally, up until today, I've never met a gay person that I didn't like. I think that, I know this is a coincidence. Obviously, there's gay people that are annoying, but like everyone that I've met has been very kind and very nice. So I ain't got nothing against anybody, but I don't know why this woman is so obsessed, as if like people are saying like, oh, gay men are horrible. Nobody's saying that. And also it's like, what about the straight men? Like, why are you so willing to just condemn an entire group of people, right? This is the primary issue. We'll leave it at this, but this is the primary issue with this video, right? Identity politics, right? To say that all men behave X way or that all men behave Y way is incorrect. It's not intelligent, and it's quite frankly wrong. If you say all black people are this way, all gay people are that way, like I almost said that right now, but I didn't. I acknowledge that there's gay people that are assholes, right? I just haven't met any, but I'm not stupid. I understand that not everyone that I've met, or rather that not that everyone that I've met represents the entire group, right? But for some reason, to her, non-gay men all fall under the same umbrella. In my opinion, that's unacceptable. I am not a fan of the way that this woman said it, but I will say this, right? I'm not gonna like sit here and give you guys a disingenuous take, right? The fact is, this is provocation TV, right? This is like the intended audience is some housewife who just put like their kids to sleep, or some elderly woman who is retired and they're having a glass of wine and they're like, you go girl. This is the you go girl demographic. And as the hater being of the fair man that he is, I will say this. Men also have people like this, right? We have the people that I showed. We have Wes Watson. We got those 2 dorks from the Fresh and Fit podcast. We got people like that. Like, those guys are basically the male equivalent of these women. They're dorks. They don't understand anything, right? They have no actual life experience. It's all about lies and exaggeration for these people. They ain't real. You know what I'm saying? If you met these women in the real world and you met the other dorks like that I mentioned, Fresh and Fit, and the other ones that we saw in that video, I don't know most of them, but they all kind of seem the same to me. I should go and look at their videos, but based on the surroundings, this whole manosphere thing and the woman sphere thing, these are just ways to divide us. The truth is, men need women need women, and of course, we need each other. It's as simple as that. The one girl, the one broad all the way to the right, she said, I need my husband, but I don't need any other man. Yes, you do. Because unless your fucking husband is Superman, there's things that your husband cannot do, right? Is your husband a mechanic? Because you're going to need a mechanic. And let's say he is a mechanic. Is he also a fucking firefighter? Is he a soldier? Is he a cop? Is he a lawyer? You see what lawyers, we can have like women that are lawyers and women in all these categories, but that's the idea. The idea is, of course, we need each other. The hater is someone that historically has enjoyed working out, right? And I consider myself to be pretty strong, right? But one time I had to move a couch by myself. And even though I could lift the couch is an awkward object to move by itself. This was a couch that was made largely of metal because it was one of those couches that like retracts and shit, right? And I had to take it downstairs from my home to downstairs. This is when I was moving out, basically, right? And it was difficult, motherfuckers. I ruined my mom's wall. I fucked up a lot of shit, right? Now, if I had like, instead of me, if it were just John Cena and Brock Lesnar or two able-bodied movers, hell, if there were two of me, I'd be able to do it, right? But I thought, I don't need anybody. I can do it by myself. And I caused some damage to the wall. So that should be a lesson to everybody. You need other people. You can't do it all by yourself. And if you could, then you're exceptional. And I see 5 women here, and I don't see any of them being exceptional. Now, if anybody knows this woman's name in the middle, I'd like to know it because I'd like to Google to see if she is divorced. I'm going to assume she is just because, there's no other explanation. But what can we do? It is what it is. Cucks, that being said, take care of yourselves and fuck your mother.